Hello and welcome. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I would like to talk about addiction today, especially smoking, overeating, sugar intake, drinking, touching on drugs. Not really. Those would be the three big things I think. Um, I have a vast experience with smoking because I was a smoker, and as they say, once a smoker, always is a smoker. Is this an affirmation? I'm not sure. Could be. However, I used to work in a pharmacy, so what I want to share you my experience, how I help people to stop smoking, basically, and how I kind of stopped smoking. Um, but I didn't quit nicotine. We're gonna get to that. So, um, for a person who is a chain smoker, the nicotine receptor and the nicotine in the brain, they are a perfect match. So they are really like being together. For a social smoker who can leave it or take it depending, the nicotine receptor and the nicotine molecule, they are not quite a perfect match. So, it's just not perfect. So that's why they don't have this urge to constantly smoke. What's happening when we are smoking? We have a high, so it goes like this constantly. After you finish your cigarette, probably in 20 minutes, you're gonna have your urge to smoke again. That's why a chain smoker basically smokes all the time because they have to keep the nicotine levels up. What can we do if we decided that we're gonna stop smoking, and why is it not only about the willpower? So if you failed million times, don't worry, it's not about the willpower. As I said, there is a real science behind it, and that's your receptor. How I used to deal with this when I had the urge, but I was like strong, I said to myself, aha, now my nicotine receptors are dying, there are less and less of them, because the more you smoke, the more receptors you're gonna develop. It's really interesting. So hence you're gonna need to smoke more. It's like that. Once you kind of reduce your intake, they start to die. They're gonna send you signals saying that, hey, I really need my nicotine now. But then just think about it if you can, that yeah, okay, my nicotine receptors are dying out now. So going back, how can we stop smoking? So you can use patches. A patch keeps you in a certain level. There are three types of patches in regards of strength. So you start with the stronger one, the strongest one. But you have to remember, you always need to have a second item to help you go through when you are really down. And that is, in my case, that was a nicotine inhaler. So the patch kept me in balance, but when there was a time when I felt the pang, then I would use the inhalant, so it would top me up to that level. And it kind of worked with level 3 and level 2. When I went to the lowest level, I couldn't keep it up, so I fell, and I started to smoke again. And then I would smoke for, let's say, 2 weeks or something, and I would start again. It took me, I think, 8 attempts to stop smoking, and I tell you how I done it. Actually, I didn't stop smoking. I switched. I switched to electronic cigarettes, and this is not this is not an advert for electronic cigarettes, but it helped me tremendously. I can tell you. First, why you want to stop smoking, probably it might be financial. You might be somebody might be nagging you, so that's not really you. Then you just feel that you have to stop. You might really feel the negative health effects of smoking, or you are just scared of dying of cancer or something. That might be still, these are all valid things, but till you're not finding something which is your motivation, the rest ain't gonna matter, I'm telling you. It's like with any addiction, you have to find a valid reason for yourself to wanna stop and then you're gonna endure. So I knew people who knew all the bad effects of smoking, financial also, because they couldn't get well, they had to pay a much higher insurance because they had to put down that they are smokers, and then the insurance quote came up much higher. So that was kind of their reason to stop, like financial. And the other one is like, and that I wanna be there for my children and grandchildren. Okay. So no, I'm telling you, if that motivates you, fair game, good for you. But I'm telling you, if you are a real addict, my experience, it doesn't have to be yours. That is not gonna be a motivation for long. You have to find something for yourself. So, what can we do then? Okay, we got this this not nicotine inhaler, this electronic cigarettes, and why I loved it first. I didn't smell of tobacco because I hated the smell. Oh, I just hated it after a while, like really. Um, my lung capacity was really great, so I could start to do exercise. I was able to exercise as much as I used to before. It was awesome. It was always with me, so I didn't have to go and run to the shops, I don't know, first thing in the morning or like, or last thing. So yeah, it was always there. It was fine. I could start when I wanted. I could finish when I wanted. I didn't have to feel bad that I have to take maybe an extra break just to go and smoke, because that happens, isn't it? And because I could just puff it, so it was fine. And usually one just a sheer thought that I could have one or two puff was enough, and that was it, and then I was fine. So what I'm gonna point out, that I wasn't entrapped by this smoking anymore. I was in control. I still needed, and I still do need, the nicotine, but it wasn't the habit who controlled me, but I managed to control this habit in some extent. So that was a really good thing. This is what I'm trying to point out here, how to be in control again. So how to gain back your control. What do they say? Some people don't want to stop smoking because they are afraid that they're gonna put on weight. Okay, very valid, very valid. But personal experience, I didn't put on any weight. But as I said, I still smoked. I just didn't smoke cigarettes, but I still had my nicotine intake. What we learned in that course is that average smoker would do this 200 times a day. So when you stop smoking, you have to keep your hands busy. And what are you doing? Usually you start to eat, and probably you start to eat sweets. So what could you eat instead of sweets? You could eat fruit. You could eat grapes, really nice. You could froze the grapes or froze a banana and then eat it as a dessert or like a treat. And this is what you could try. So also you should be really conscious about the amount on your plate when you stop smoking. And then now we're gonna go to the eating bit. Now, as you can see, the plates are, or not the plate, plates are not necessarily bigger. That the food on a plate is definitely is bigger, because now we are into this XXL meal plans and everything. So everybody eats like a lot, and they drink like a liter of liquid with this in one go. What happens that your stomach is gonna loosen up, and then to feel full, you always have to obviously fill it up, and you wanna fill it up with food. If you're eating food which has no real value, dietary value, it hasn't got any vitamins in it, you're gonna be hungry. It's and that's why you have to be able to control that one too in the same time. So you're gonna wanna start to eat more fruit and veg to be able to control your habits. So even if you eat more, doesn't matter, because you just gonna hopefully eat more vitamins. You're gonna have more vitamins in your body, and you're not gonna fill yourself up with more chocolate and sugars, because first you're gonna, if you have already a sugar craving, that's just gonna put oil on a fire for you. Second, that's not gonna scratch that itch for the smoking. I'm telling you, no. It's like you cannot use one substance to kind of fill the need of another substance. This is not how it works. You have to kind of work it out in your own head. And here where the willpower comes to be aware of it, that yeah, okay, I'm craving, I'm not craving, I could eat like 5 bars of chocolate, doesn't matter, I would still want to smoke. And probably I would still smoke. So then I can feel double guilty because I smoked and I ate all this chocolate. So just be aware of this. As I said, what I used to tell to myself is this, that okay, I'm craving this cigarette. Fine, my nicotine receptors are dying. Good, every day I'm gonna have less and less. Fine, I can do it. It's okay. So, as I said, we swap to electronic cigarettes. There are different strengths. You can start with, I think there is 18 definitely. I don't know if there is any higher than 18. We started with 12 and then we went down to 6. Then you can go down to 3 or 0. When you smoke 0, it's really you just smoking flavor. Let's not get into how dangerous it is or how good it is. My experience is that it helped me to control my habit. I could step down. I didn't need that much nicotine in the end. And I definitely felt that it's not the end of the world if I can't smoke. That was a really important bit, because this is actually another thing I really hated. That, what's the word for it? That need, not the need, that you are so that dependency on it, in a sense that, you know, if they were to tell me you have to sit here 4 hours now, okay, and you can't go out smoking because there is something we need to do. Okay, I would be really struggling after 2 hours, I would say. But when I started to swap to electronics, so when I swapped to electronic, there was no problem anymore, because I knew that somehow I learned to trust that okay, I can smoke when I want and I can leave it, so I don't really have to hang about it and think about it. When can I go out for a cigarette? Where do I need to buy the cigarette? It's a proper, this is a proper junky way of thinking about it, but it's the same with the food or alcohol, not to mention drugs, because that's like, yeah. So I could put this all aside, and I was in control again. I got used to the feeling of craving, because my receptor started to die out. So if somebody was telling me, okay, when I swapped to electronic, that yeah, okay, now we have to work for 4 hours straight on, you can smoke, fine. I could do it because I got used to it. It's not that I enjoyed it, but I kind of trained myself. So it was okay, I was not dependent. So there was not something you can hold against me or kind of motivate me in either way, that yeah, okay, now you can go and smoke. Thank you. No, it doesn't matter anymore. So this is just something to kind of, this whole video is about how to liberate yourself, if you know what I mean. Okay, finishing off with the cigarettes. I'm gonna just summarize. So nicotine receptors are dying out, okay? You just tell yourself that, okay, they are dying out, so I'm getting stronger, it's gonna be less and less, so I will need less and less of them, fine. Then try to eat more fruit and veg, so you're not gonna stuff yourself with sugar. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you happen to fail, never mind. You be gentle with yourself and you say, okay, dust myself off. When I'm ready, I'm gonna start again, because I have a reason. And it's my reason, not because I wanna see my kids or this agenda that, oh, I need to save money. No, something really personal. What you gonna can really hold on to, and you know that's really is meaning for you. So that's that. And then, but be really harsh on yourself in the same time, so that you know that you have this goal, and then that's your ultimate goal, and you're gonna work for it, and that's it. That's it. Doesn't matter how many times you have to restart. You can do it, step by step. Going to the food, then I wanna talk a bit about the size of the food. So yeah, um, for me, as I said, I had to kind of change diet because I had gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance. Usually they walk along side by side, I don't know why. Um, Again, when I had to figure out what to eat, how to cook, it opened up a brand new possibility for me, because I realized that I'm not depending on that certain item or something. So it gets you to be creative. Okay, I don't have, I don't know, this bread. I can buy a gluten-free bread, or God forbid, I can eat something else for breakfast or for dinner. I don't have to eat bread. Maybe I can eat a banana or two or something. So, you know, and then you realize, yeah, okay, it still filled me up. Anyhow, for me, even if I eat like a really big meal, I am hungry after like 3 hours. So for me, it's okay to eat like smaller amounts. And then if I still feel hungry, I just top it up. That's another thing, how we learn as children what is an acceptable amount to eat. How many of us heard that, yeah, you don't leave food on, you know, on your plate, you eat it, like even if you're gonna throw up after you eat it all. No, I would say just eat lesser amounts, and then if you are still hungry, eat slowly if you can. If you are still hungry, then top up your plate, it's fine. By the time probably you realize you don't even need it. Also, you have to realize that your body needs to accustom to the change of diet. So if you start to eat more fruit and veg, and you used to eat more heavy meat, heavy meals, then your body is craving it. It's still craving it. The same with the cigarettes. It's still craving it. So you have to be aware of it. You have to be conscious about it and say, okay, how long can I endure this? I'm gonna try to endure it. Will it go away in 10-15 minutes? Maybe. I see. If it went away, happy me. Okay, I don't have to do anything. Fine. If it didn't, okay, I'm gonna top up my plate. So you have to kind of play with yourself. Now I understand that many of us don't have time for this really. That's why some people really, especially these days, they would not eat anything all day, because simply they don't have time. They don't have enough time to really enjoy a meal, to digest this meal, so they just wolf it all down, or they eat whatever they can find. And then in the evening, that's the time when they really sit down and they start to eat. Maybe they are eating for an hour or something. So that is unfortunately really is wrong, because you're starving yourself all day, and of course you're going to be so hungry by the end of the day. So I would suggest to try to, it takes a bit more preparation, but try to bring something to work if you are allowed to eat, I don't know. So first try to prepare your food, because then you won't feel guilty. You know what is in there. You won't feel guilty that you ate another muffin what you made, because you know exactly what you put in it, how much sugar you put in it, and what else did you put in it. Fine. So you are in control again. It's all about being in control. Um, and try to eat a bit more fruit um, in between meals, and then it might fill you up. However, it might not work for everyone, because I don't really like snacking, so I'm not snacking. But then maybe it would work for you. How did I stop eating sugar? Well, that was, well, I really love chocolate. So it doesn't mean that I never eat chocolate ever again, and I won't be eating chocolate. Um, it just means that, again, I kind of made myself my own dessert. Sorry, not dessert, desserts. That doesn't sound right either. Anyway, you know what I mean. So I made my own muffins, um, if I went out and find chocolate with xylitol or erythritol in it if I crave chocolate, but mostly I made my own. So then I knew what is in it, so I didn't feel like, oh my goody, I ate this whole bar of chocolate and now I ate like a extra 500 calories, which is like almost like a meal. So no, I felt no guilt when I ate, let's say, 3 muffins. It was fine. So again, just to be in control. So that kind of teaches you how to be in control. And now if somebody offers me a chocolate, yeah, sure, I eat it. It's no problem. But I'm not making a habit out of it. I'm not falling back into that habit. And if I were to fall back, I know I can um, quit. I can stop because it's almost like a muscle memory. I done it once, so I remember. Again, with this, you have to find the reason why you want to do it. I wanted to do it because of my stomach problems. And then this all kind of like unraveled one after another, all these things. Um, what else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, again, like this is a funny thing with the addiction or the sugar because if you look at it, how do we appraise? How do we give appraise to a child? We say, oh, if you behave very nicely, or you're gonna keep quiet, you're not gonna cry, I'm gonna give you chocolate in it. So we kind of teach all this to our children, which is not really great. First they're gonna be relying on sugar, so that's why that might be that they cannot concentrate that much and they are a bit hyperactive. It's like a sugar rush. I've seen this on adults totally. So a sugar rush is a really it's a true thing. It's yeah. Or another thing is that then they're gonna do this with their children. So this is how it's get passed down and down. Um, Another thing is that why are we using our addictions? Maybe we kind of using it to as a handle, so we can survive day by day. So let's say the fifth coffee, maybe it is an addiction, maybe it's not so great, uh, you know, or maybe that energy drink is I need it because I'm tired. Maybe I'm smoking so much or taking more breaks because I can go on breaks. So we have to be aware all of this and then we have to tackle all of this one by one. So as I said, please don't try to change all this in one go. Just start with something and make it personal. Make it personal. Doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm gonna be blunt here. It's not about your kids or you're gonna see your kids or whatever. Um, for some people, maybe that would be a really valid and personal reason, but make it really personal, and then you're gonna stick with it seriously. What else I wanted to say? I don't really want to get into alcohol and drugs because we all know that they are really, really destructive. And but why I'm talking about all this because I want to shift this later to the a bit to the metaphysical. So when we kind of learn how to take down all these things, we are not bound to these habits. We are not in chains. Then we're gonna see that how can we open up to how can we relearn ourselves and how can we connect, let's say, to nature or other things much easier because we got creative, we got out of so many boxes in one go, physically and also mentally, because this goes hand in hand. And by cleaning up our diet, um, we're gonna be able to open up to more things in a metaphysical, to put it that way, or should I say supernatural. I don't really like to use the spiritual anymore because you can understand things. Spiritual in itself, I think, doesn't mean that you have to give up on anything. You can be really spiritual to understand, but for the actual practice, you do have to kind of shift and change things. Although this is also up for debate because I would say again my personal experience that I could, yeah, I could connect, I could always connect, I just didn't want to connect, so let's say I would drink because there is too much to feel, and then you want to numb yourself down, yeah? Maybe. Same with the drugs, could be. Cigarette is just a habit, a craving. It's like it's like a craving, and that doesn't have anything to do with all this, in my personal experience or opinion. And so you kind of you have to learn how to kind of control all this, to raise above it, to kind of be gentle but strong in the same time, and then you're gonna be able to open up more. And funny thing this is because so as I said, it's all about how can you how it's all about the practice. So what you're gonna practice and how will you practice all these things, and then you can move forward if you wish so with other things. And it doesn't matter if you fall back, because if you've done it once, you can do it twice and three times and millions of times. And if you never done it, make it personal, and then you will do it definitely. if if you can't do it, it means it's not personal enough. You just find it out why is it so important for you, and that's it, really. So in the next video, I think I'm gonna talk about this, about the cleanliness of the body and the mind, in order to kind of connect, I would say. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyhow, this is what I wanted to talk about today, and in regards of addictions. I hope I didn't leave anything out. I don't think so. And thank you very much, and I wish you a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.